Raceline. Brought to you by General Tire. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. And by Revell, the world's model maker.
The sun may be setting, but the action is just beginning. Welcome to Inwood, Ontario. I'm Catherine DeCourt. We're here for the Twin Creek National Championships, pulling action at its very best. We've got some exciting competition here with the unlimited modifieds and the super stockers. The dirt will be flying and the ground will be shaking. In fact, I think the track is ready, and I know the crowd is ready. Yeah, they let me know that the crowd is ready, and along with me for the ride today is John Meadows, and right now we go to Eric Thomas and Vic Rauter.
Thanks, Catherine. You know, Vic, a funny thing has happened over the last couple of seasons with Raceline on TSN. With all the stock car racing and the drag racing that we do, it turns out that truck and tractor pulling is one of the most popular telecasts we present.
It is, and it's a very popular spectator event as well. Think back a couple of years ago, Eric, the event at the Sky Dome drew 45,000 people plus, and there'll be a lot of sports teams in Toronto that like to have that kind of crowd.
Well, we're standing in front of what I think most viewers would recognize as your common variety stock tractor. It's a far cry from some of the gear we're going to see here tonight.
Well, one of our events, the Super Stocks, the tractors look a lot like this, but of course the horsepower is increased dramatically. Then you have the Unlimiteds, the modifieds, don't really look like tractors with 4, 5, 6, and even 7 engines. The other thing about an event like this at Inwood is the nighttime. It's a show.
It sure is.
These tractors breathe fire. And then, of course, there's the track itself. Because it holds moisture, will it be a little tougher for the competitors?
The fans around Inwood have waited all summer long for the National Tractor Pulling Association to arrive here. They're finally here, and there are some points titles on the line here tonight, too.
There is one points championship up for grabs, and that is in the Super Stock division. This is one of 14 events on the summer-long tour, the only one in Canada. $750,000. That's the total prize pool, which gives new meaning to Green Acres.
All right, let's get more from John Meadows.
One of the most radical tractors to hit the NTPA Superstock circuit in the last couple of years is this one of the Connor brothers. It's a 2-180 white, and what makes it so radical is the motor. Originally, it started out as a 3208 Caterpillar diesel truck engine, and it's been radically reworked and put into this white. It's got aluminum cylinder heads, a very sophisticated fuel injection system. Currently, the Connor brothers sit in the number 2 spot in the Superstock class. The points battle is extremely tight, to say the least, between Tom Dickerson and the 20 Mule team. It's not only a battle on the track, but it's also a battle of philosophies and horsepower. Dickerson chooses to use diesel fuel, and he can make a lot of horsepower. He runs a very consistent operation where the Connor brothers really run on kill almost from weekend to weekend, and they've been beating everybody up all summer long. 4 points separate these two teams. It's going to be great to watch it here this evening.
Welcome back to the Twin Creek Grand National NTPA Tractor Pull. I'm going to start it off with the 9,500-pound Superstock category. Vic Rauter, this is a great class. Gary Gettinger's going to start us off aboard Ultralight.
We said earlier how these look so much like your standard farm tractor. Well, when they leave the factory, they are about 125 horsepower, but now upwards of 1,000, maybe even 2,000 horsepower. Look at all the steam coming off Ultralight.
Well, that's true, too, because they burn off as much water, keeping the intakes cool, as they do fuel.
And Ultralight with Gerry Gettinger comes in at 279.8 feet. 300 feet is a full pull here at the Twin Creek Motorsport Park.
Backing in to get hooked up, Jeff Englehart from Zanesville, Ohio, east of Columbus, aboard Double J, a beautiful Alice Chalmers D21.
And Eric, you can see those twin stacks go jet black. It is a guide for all of these pullers because they know when they see the jet black smoke coming out of their stack, they have got maximum power.
Steam a-flying, smoke a-flying, 300 feet. He's got, bigger problems now, right, 299, but he's got something severely wrong in the engine room of the Double JJ.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe a supercharger going, maybe an oil line, something like that, but yeah, a burst of fire, and they're going to open it up. I don't know if I want to be too close here.
No, Rod Main, the NTPA official, trying to get that cover off. All kinds of fluid on the ground here, severe problems inside the engine compartment for sure.
Yeah, disappointing as well for Jeff Englehart because he did pull 299.5, so a half a foot short of a full pull.
All right, let's wow, a little fire up there, a little squirt for what ails you. Oh yeah, look at the oil. All kinds of oil. A gasket or an oil line has come loose here, Beck.
all kinds of Kendall oil now dripping down over the chassis of that tractor, but his afternoon is done, of course, at 299.5. He will not make another run.
Sometimes these things are a lot worse than they really appear to be, but as you say, no need to repair it.
Yeah, I mean, it's more messy than anything else. It may be, as you suggest, as simple as a head gasket coming out.
Look at it again here, Vic.
Everything looks fine to this point. It's right at the end, probably where he needs maximum pull as he digs in at 299.5 and then pop.
Oh, wow. Kill the engine right away. And that killed the run short of a full pull. All right, getting up to steam here and full RPM. Tom Dickerson, a gas turbine test engineer from Olean, New York, aboard 20 Mule Team, the Case International.
Tom Dickerson, of course, locked in that great battle with Ernie Connor for the points championship in Superstock. And he's got to have a full pull, because if he doesn't, well, that opens the door for Connor. Did he make it? No. 297 even. And I know for a fact that Tom Dickerson and 20 Mule Team are going to be disappointed with that.
Yeah, they sure will be. Tom Dickerson needed that full pull, just fell short of it.
So let's remember now, Ernie Connor, who we will see just a little later, will have a chance to win the 9,500 Superstock Championship. Green flag out from the starter, and now they'll hook it up for Russ Mears.
Russ Mears from Cynthiana, Ohio. Just maybe is the ride. He could come out of the pack to win this. He is due for a win in this series.
Just maybe he will win this.
Right down the middle, nice and straight, Vic.
Oh, yeah, and listen to it. Just a quiet kind of humming, but not far enough. 270.1, just maybe, isn't going to be good enough.
Russ Mears falling short. Moving now to Terry Blackburn from Schulzburg, Wisconsin, south part of the state on the Illinois border, getting hooked up here.
Interesting the way they do this. There's a lot of precaution in this. First the hook and now the safety latch. So in fact, if the tractor does break away, that will automatically kill the power.
Tightening up the connection.
Now we won't see any smoke here, Eric.
No, we will not. An alcohol or methanol burning tractor. No emissions, virtually no pollution. Good for the environment.
Look at the tire speed. Can you imagine what they would be doing if they're on pavement?
You would be able to see the tractor for one thing with all the smoke. There it is.
279.5. So still, we haven't had a full pull in this 9,500 class.
You were talking about the moisture in the track, Vic, with the nightfall and the absence of bright sunlight and the heat. So far, this track has been a little bit tougher than we expected.
Yeah, Jeff Engelhart continues to be the leader on Double J at 299.5. And maybe a problem here as well for Terry Blackburn.
Got a number of tractors breaking down here at the top end of the runs. So Terry's going to look things over here. Now we've got the official, Rod Main again. Something underneath. No fire. We didn't see any fire like we did the last time.
We're trying to find a date. Just get on.
But again, he is finished for the event.
Dennis Wirtz is up next. Buckeye Thunder. He's from Plain City, Ohio. Big grain farmer in that part of the country. And Alice Chalmers D21 with triple turbochargers. There's a hand on the throttle. Nice and easy for us.
And this time, lots of smoke. Jet black. 299.5. Half a foot short of a full pull. Will he get there, Mr. Wirtz?
A little crooked on the end.
No, 277.7. So, yeah, the track is having its effect on these pullers. And we talked earlier about the moisture and what it does to a track like this.
Oh, it sure does. When there's a lot of moisture in the track, Vic, there's a lot of resistance against the drivetrain of these tractors, and that puts a lot of strain on the motors. That's why we're seeing tractors breaking down at the finish line. It puts up what you call a tight track.
Everybody to a man, to a woman, when you consider Rodlin Knox loves the track here at the Twin Creek Motorsport Park, so there's no complaint about the track and its surface.
This is the tractor that John Massingbird had the close look at the top of the show. Ernie Connor and Bad Medicine from Greencastle, Missouri.
And he is now the only one that has a chance at catching Tommy Dickerson for the points championship in 9,500 pounds super stock. Remember, Dickerson leads by 4 points coming into this event. So Connor will have to have at least a full pull.
You're looking right now at probably the most technically advanced tractor in the series. And it is an alcohol burning as opposed to a diesel burning white tractor. A gorgeous machine. A little bit of methanol out of the stack. You saw it there. which you won't see any smoke, just a little bit of vapor. Here he goes.
Oh, looks like a great push.
Front end up,
Did
but
he
not
get-
too high.
Yes, a full pull for Bad Medicine. And Ernie Connor closes the gap in his season-long battle with Tommy Dickerson. Connor now within one single point. Man, it looked good right from the minute he put the hand down on the throttle. It was dialed in. Look at this.
Yeah.
It doesn't go left, doesn't go right. It is just straight down the track.
Just about what you might call picture-perfect wheel speed, and he doesn't get the front end up too far, but just enough to get all the weight in the tires where he needs it on the rear end. Nice job.
Well, Ernie, as the crew peels off the bodywork to let the heat out from under the engine, I can feel it rolling up my back. First full pull of the night, that puts you in great shape.
Yeah, that's what we come here to do. I think most the people on tour here know which is the best tractor, and we're here to show it.
Now, evidently, Tommy Dickerson might have something to say about that. You guys are about 4 points apart in the Grand National points. A very tight battle, and you're trailing. Can you get him this weekend?
Well, that remains to be seen, you know. Just depends on what everybody else does. We unfortunately had some bad break at Syracuse last weekend, and then they had the finals, and we missed the finals, and he threw a fit because we were trying to hook and get hook points with a broke motor, and he was having a fit, but that's just the way it is. This is the best tractor there is here.
It's been a long battle all summer long. It's coming all to an end this weekend at Inwood.
It sure is, and when you recalculate things, Eric, when you look at the full pull for Connor and Dickerson at 297 flat, it's now down to Dickerson leading by that single point.
Absolutely. Neil Gettinger gets going here from Milton, Indiana. That's just east of Indianapolis aboard Up and Adam, a nice John Deere tractor.
Needs the full pull now. We know we have one, and he'll fall short at 294.6.
This is a little tractor that you might say is big on horsepower, and he does fall a little bit short there. Max Simpson, double trouble. He's from Charlotte, Michigan. It's around the Lansing area. Used to run a tractor called Mean Old Alice. This is an Alice Chalmers D21. Here we go.
Yeah, I like the stacks, the double inline stacks.
Over and under shotgun, lots of smoke in the air. Reminds me of the old steam locomotive days, isn't it?
Very much so. And they come barreling out of the tunnel. 273.6 for double trouble.
Edson Lane will now move into position in the Dennis Brabeck-owned Imposter. Dennis himself is a former president of the NTPA.
Good-looking machine. The paint jobs on these have gotten better over the years, too. You know, when you think back to some of the early truck and tractor pulls you may have seen on television, they're getting a little fancier. They're adding some fiberglass work to them, and the machines are looking good.
Well, these sponsorship packages, too, Vic, are becoming a little more sophisticated. That gives them a little more money to make the tractors look a little more attractive. And here he goes. Edson Lane. This is a nice smooth run too, Vic.
It is. Now he needs a full pull. Remember, he shuts it down. Oh my, 294.1. When they get so close to that 300-foot mark, you think they're there, but they're just falling a little short. The only one so far, of course, Ernie Connor and Bad Medicine.
So Esden Lane pulls it away.
Well, Esden, we're usually used to seeing you aboard the Red Line Fever, but it doesn't much matter what you drive. You always get a good performance out of every tractor. A nice run on Dennis Brabeck's Imposter. How'd it feel?
It felt real good. We've been having a little trouble with it and everything. We've been trying some new stuff with it, and the track is just biting. Unbelievable tonight.
Now, as many laps down the track as you've got with an International, does it take anything to get used to Dennis's tractor? You drive it any differently?
Oh, you got to drive like my tractor. It'll be a little more racier on the starting line. We got to drive the AC a little bit harder off the line and stuff to get it to go down the track a little bit better.
Well, Esden Lane's looking in good shape here tonight. Aboard Dennis Brabeck's Imposter.
All right, back up to the thumb sled, the weight transfer sled. Denny Hayford from New Regal, Ohio, in lethal injection. Here's a guy, Vic, who runs whenever he can, limited budget kind of an operation. Doesn't run every NTPA show, but runs strongly as he can when he does show up.
You know what I noticed about the night? It's a sticky night. It's a hot night. And we mentioned earlier about the moisture in the track. There's a lot of moisture in the air as well.
Nice clean little Ford tractor. Gets that front end bobbing in the air here.
Yeah.
He's down the center, though.
Oh,
Sets it down with a bounce. That's going to be short, quite obviously. Yeah, there you are.
2:58 and 2, and problems as Rod Main takes a look in the front end through the grill work.
To get him separated.
Yeah, call for the tow truck. Did you see that? No ifs, ands, or buts. Bring out the tow.
Here is one of the former points champions in NTPA, very successful farmer from Lenox, Iowa. That's down near Des Moines. Rob Russell aboard Workhorse.
Pretty machine. 7120 case. It is an absolutely glorious night here at Inwood for this Twin Creek Grand National. Oh, look at this.
Oh, boy, that's nice.
You know, you talked about the old steam engines. This is a lot like it, eh? Let's watch now the run of Rob Russell.
Hissing his way to the top,
Flash bulbs going off. Did he get to... Yes!
Oh,
full
nice.
pull for Workhorse. And now we have two. Rob Russell joins Ernie Connor and Bad Medicine.
You hear those horns going off, too, when they make a full pull. And there it is on the board.
Yeah, 300 feet.
Nice pull right there, the Workhorse.
Well, the battle heats up here at Inwood as Robbie Russell makes it number 2 into the pull-off. Rob, you're going to join Ernie Connors at the very least in a pull-off. What's going to be the strategy?
We're going to do what we can to get the tractor to run a little harder off the line. It came out a little slow there. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going right now. I'm just going to try to get him in the pull-off.
On a good, fair, and even track, can the alcohol tractor be had?
It's our best shot here tonight. We got an excellent sled here, and the track's good. I don't know. He's tough, but we're going to give it all we can.
Good luck, Rob Russell.
Thank you, John.
All righty, more action to come from the Twin Creek Grand Nationals at Inwood on Raceline in a minute. Welcome back to Inwood, Ontario, Raceline. Eric Thomas, Vic Rauter, John Massingberg, Catherine DeCourt. Marvelous pulling action, 9,500-pound class tractors.
And so far, we've had 2 full pulls, Bad Medicine and Workhorse. And what do they be, brake pedals?
Yep, absolutely. And one guy who knows how to work them very well, Tom Morsey from Jeffersontown, Kentucky, aboard Groundhog.
That's the interesting thing about something's broken already, 56 and 1, so he breaks right off the line. But that's something I was going to say. When you watch the pullers, when the throttle is down, the way they keep the tractors or whatever they're pulling straight is through the brakes, right? I mean, you put a little brake on the right, a little on the left, and that's the way you keep it straight.
Well, for sure, very often the steering wheels at the front are well off the ground. You're not going to turn any kind of tractor like that.
Always a good crowd on hand here at Inwood. The pullers love to come to Canada as we take a look now at Doug Palmer.
From West Quincy, Missouri in the River City Truck. This is a former Connors brother tractor, by the way.
And when you think about Connor Brothers, you think about championships, and this may have been one of their championship tractors in the past.
Alrighty, starting it off nice and smooth here, building the RPM. Oh, no, wait a minute. Something's happened here. The thing's really gone off song.
Doesn't sound right,
No.
and Palmer quickly shuts it down. Very disappointed. 218 and 1. Boy, you know.
That sounded like turbochargers to me. There's 4 on this tractor, and if one shuts down, that closes off the intake for the entire motor, and I think that's what happened. That's just a guess from here.
No guessing, though, about the distance. 218 and 1 for Doug Palmer and River City Truck Parts.
Joe Telak hails from Hamburg, New York. That's near Buffalo, aboard Smokin' Joe, a top-notch state-level competitor. Everything's all tightened up here. Put that visor down, make sure the brakes are all in working order, lots of pressure. And Joe Telak will take off. Right in front of his face, that is the boost gauge. The smoke is black. The revs are up, and here he goes.
Interesting, in other forms of racing, you might look at a tachometer, and they have a boost gauge here on these tractors. Needs a full pull. Anything less won't get him there, and he doesn't. 284 and 8. Again, remember, Bad Medicine, Ernie Connor, Workhorse, Rob Russell, the only 2 full pulls we have this nighttime event.
Little weight adjustment here on the sled. Ernie Connor and Rob Russell in the pull-off in the Super Stock 9,500-pound category.
And, of course, adding more weight to the sled, each block about 2,000 pounds.
Even tonier. This is Tom Dickerson and Rob Russell. Little conflab here, Vic.
Well, Dickerson, of course, right now leading the points race. He drives a diesel machine, and he's going to give maybe some points to Russell, because what you've got here is a battle between the diesel machines of Dickerson, Russell in the pull-off, up against the alcohol machine of Ernie Connor.
Oh, a lot of strategy going on here at Inwood, huh? All hooked up and set to take off.
And let's not forget this points battle that goes on here. You know that Dickerson now is on the sideline saying to Russell, you know, you can help me out if you can knock this guy off here. Maybe you never know what we can talk about when it's all said
What's it
and done.
weight to you? What's it weight to you? Yeah. This is hefty business right now. He's getting off a little bit to the left here, Vic.
Yeah, not as clean as his first full pull, but he still comes up 293.5. Man, he had to work hard just to keep that in bounds. You know, there are some out of bounds here. You don't want to be up in the stands.
No, you certainly don't want to be up in the stands. The track, after all, is only 35 feet wide, but you go out of bounds and you're out.
Here's John with Ernie Conn.
Well, it was a wild ride. There's no question. Ernie, you had it set on kill. Not at the end, but I don't think anybody's going to get out a good-looking run for you.
He'll have to make an awful good pass to get around that one, I think.
Well, we got it figured out here down at the end that if you win this class tonight, that puts you within 1 point striking distance of Tom Dickerson.
That's what we're here for. We're going to make it awful tough on him to get around us, and he'll get nervous.
Good luck, Ernie Connor.
Well, here's a guy that could help out Tom Dickerson an awful lot, and this is Rob Russell. And right away you see the difference in the machines where Bad Medicine ran that clean stack. Well, now he gets himself all buckled in. Nothing but belching black here.
I like this guy's racing suit, kind of like a combination A.J. Foyt, Harry Gant here.
Yes.
He's probably got as much experience as those guys. Tightening up the connection. Wants this to be as perfect of a pull as he could possibly make it.
All right, he already knows that Bad Medicine, Ernie Connor have gone 293.5. That's the mark to beat here in this pull-off.
Oh, no! He's got some big problems off the line.
Unbelievable.
Little puff of smoke. We had some steam coming out of the gauge area of the steering wheel, and the thing just died on it.
Yeah, but you know something, Eric? This may have been an intentional stop. Let's remember the rule in pulling that if you don't go 75 feet, if you let off and just glide and intentionally say, hey, I'm not happy, I want to do it again, they'll give you a second pull. So, hey, maybe he decided when he hooked up, the gearing wasn't right.
Yeah, or maybe the boost wasn't up as high as he wanted it to be. As soon as the thing got onto load, he knew it was wrong and he backed out right away.
Exactly. So he didn't get over the 75-foot line. They're going to give him another pull, and here he goes. Again, remember, 293.5. That is what Rob Russell has got to beat.
Not too much hop, and it's right down the center.
Where are you, man? Oh, I don't know. That hop probably killed him. 291.8, and so it will be. Ernie Connor, Bad Medicine. Bad Medicine is good medicine on this night here at Twin Creek, and he wins it.
Rob Russell standing by with John Massenberg.
Rob, a great-looking pass, about 2 feet short of Ernie's mark, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that run, I guess. I had a little trouble on the line there. Had a turbo grab a housing, and it just wasn't turning right. I had to back up and try it again. Then we had to touch a brake at one point there. It really cost us, but what can I say? He's a good competitor. We gave the crowds a good show.
Well, Rob Russell, of course, always the sportsman, and second-place finish for the man and the workhorse.
Okay, let's review it. Whoa, what a pull we had in the Superstock Series. Ernie Connor on top, Rob Russell, Jeff Engelhardt, Tom Dickerson, and Neil Gettinger.
And as you look at 5 through 10, let's remember now that Connor within 1 point of Dickerson in the overall championship.
Well, Ernie, the war isn't won yet, but this is the battle one. Congratulations on your win here tonight.
Thank you. You know, it's going to be a fight to the end, and we're here for one thing only, and that's to win, and that's what we planned on doing.
Ernie, what have you got to do tonight to get ready for that final round tomorrow?
We'll just run through the valves, check them out, clean the filter, and just give her a good thorough going over, make sure everything's up to snuff for tomorrow.
Alrighty. Well, congratulations on your class win tonight, and we'll see how you work out in the Grand National Points battle tomorrow. Take it easy.
Thank you.
The most important thing when it comes to truck and tractor pulling, of course, is the consistency of the track. You don't want it too dry like this, or you get absolutely no bite. You don't want it too wet, or this would be a mud bogging event. What you do want is the dirt to bind exactly like this. That would give the machines the ultimate bite. The key here at Twin Creeks, as the name suggests, is this is an old creek bed, and it is filled with clay.
If you like horsepower, you've come to the right place. Welcome to Horsepower Heaven. Let's take a look at how two Grand National champions get down a 300-foot pulling track with radically different styles of horsepower. Let's take a look first at Gardner Stone's General. Gardner uses 4 T-55 Lycoming helicopter engines, originally out of a military Chinook helicopter. They'll make about 2,850 horsepower apiece, almost 11,000 horsepower. He'll generate wheel speed of in excess of 110 miles an hour. On the more traditional side, David Banner chooses to use 7 454 cubic inch supercharged and fuel-injected Chevrolets, about 1,200, 1,300 horsepower apiece. David's got about a total of 8,500 horsepower on tap. Now, the driving style is different as well. If Dave feels the traction is going away, he can backpedal on the throttle, pull up on it, slow the wheels up again, and hit the throttle and plant those rear wheels again. If Gardner has to do it, on the other hand, it's a little more difficult with the turbine. If you pull out of the throttle, it takes a little bit longer to get them spooled up and making their horsepower. So what Gardner wants is a good, solid, straight run. If he does it, he's got 11,000 horsepower that can get him to the winner's circle. One thing you can be assured of, though, for sure, is that David Banner will provide the thunder while Gardner Stone provides the lightning.
Yeah, lots of lightning. This is Canada Day. This is every fireworks display rolled into one here for this unlimited modifieds. And yeah, they can pull more, so they're adding more blocks of weight, 2,000 pounds a block. And the sled, what?
About 65,000 pounds for these unlimited tractors. No problem. No
Amazing.
problem. Here's one of the toughest competitors in the unlimited tractor category, Mike Piper out of Mount Vernon, Illinois, from the southern tier of the state. His ride is called Just Add Dirt. Oh, these things shake the ground, Vic.
You got 5 of them dialed in there. 3 in line, 2 hanging on the side, and he makes the full pull. Just Add Dirt.
Nice run by Mike Piper.
Oh, man.
Boy, the silence is deafening now, isn't it?
But he shuts it down.
Mike, a great looking pass, no question about it, a full pull, but it's not going to stand up. There's going to be some out behind you.
Well, I hope they don't, but I think you're probably right. We may lay down a good pass there. It might have been a little dead heavy on the nose right down there at the far end of the track, but we're trying to conserve a motor where we got a broken crank, and we don't want to have to hurt any worse than we have to.
All righty, well, good luck. You're looking good right now.
Thank you very much.
All righty, let's have a look at last year's world champion, Gardner Stone from Middlebury, Vermont, aboard the General, one of the most incredible vehicles I've ever seen in any category.
Yeah, remember what John said, a 4 Chinook helicopter engine. Hey, it looks good so far. Is it going to be far enough? No. 277.1 for the General.
That's a rather interesting shutdown sound, I'll give you that.
It is one wild machine, though, isn't it?
Gardner, it looked great right off the starting line, but something went amiss halfway down the track.
Right off the starting line, we had one compressor stall just about 50 feet out. I thought it was going to stay lit and so on. It did for a little ways, for about, 100 feet, 150 feet. Then I felt the motors just come right back down again.
Tough break for the 1990 Grand National champion.
Eric, that is the face of a General who has lost the pulling war, as it were.
Jim Brockman from New Haven, Indiana, near Fort Wayne, one of the most experienced pullers you're ever going to find aboard Kodiak.
You know, we talked about the sound, the deafening sound earlier. A reminder, if you do come to these and you have some earplugs at home, bring them because it will help you. But look at this,
man.
Brockman all over the place. He started way right, ends up way left, 287. You know, you straighten that out, he might have a full pull.
Yeah, he took too much time going sideways instead of straight ahead.
287.4 for Kodiak. We've had one full pull so far, Mike Piper and Just Add Dirt.
Remember, Vic, all that horsepower, there's a lot of torque twist in these machines. It's difficult to keep these things straight.
Jim, at 250 feet, it looked like you were going to go the distance. At 275, the bear got bit.
Yeah, well, you know, the Kodiak Bear is trying hard out there, but, hey, this is one tough track up here in Canada, and we love coming here. That's what it's all about.
Piper's out front with a full pull. Who do you expect to go out the gate with him?
Oh, there ought to be probably another 2 vehicles out there yet. There's a track out there. We just got a little light on the front, and this right rear outboard motor died on us about 3/4 of the run. So I think somebody that can keep their power together and their front end down a little bit, they'll drive right past it.
Words of wisdom from Jim Brockman.
Interesting that Brockman says he lost one of his engines, that right side engine, so that's certainly not going to help as we take a look now at Bob Jostock.
Here's a tractor that's a little down on power. 4 blown 454 cubic inch Chevys. Bob Jostock out of Lapeer, Michigan, just outside of Flint. Wild Child, the name of the ride. Notice a different sound, Vic. It's stock Chevrolet's stock tractor, basically. Not much modification.
Not at all. The 454s go 228.5. It's almost like they came right out of that Monte Carlo. You see the Burke tubes, that's oil coming out of the top of the rocker covers. And off he goes, and a disappointing run for Wild Child, Mild Child in this case.
More of the Unlimited tractors to come from Inwood on Raceline in a moment. Welcome back to Inwood, Ontario, the Twin Creek Grand Nationals NTPA tractor pull. We're into the big Monster Unlimited tractors. Here's one of the best, Raceline Knox from Weir, New Hampshire. Country Girl is the name of the ride.
The former drag racer, Raceline Knox, doing another form of drag racing, as it were. Man, I'd like to know what kind of wheel speed. What are they doing here? 125, maybe 130 miles an hour?
Oh, yeah, these 6 all-aluminum Hemis, the JP1s, really put out the horsepower. Look at the twist in this tractor. Once she gets it up to peak RPM, the red flag calls it off. And a full pull.
Hey, yeah.
Nice job for Raceline Knox, one of 3 female modified pullers in the business, and a good one, too.
She sure is. Got the whole family working for her. Son Brian builds the engines. Now we have 2 full pulls.
Well, the question is not whether or not Raceline Knox is a great female driver. It's just flat-out great driver. Raceline, you joined Mike Piper in the pull-off.
Well, that's great. I think there'll be some more out, so it'll be a good pull-off, and that was a real strong run for us. It was a tough run. The tractor kind of moved around a bit, but we got it out.
Any changes for the second lap?
I think we'll probably basically go the same. I think the weights were pretty good, so we'll probably run it like it was.
Best of luck in the pull-off.
Thanks a lot.
All right, Raceline. Now, this is one monster machine. Vern Corey from Stewartstown, PA. Papa Bear, tractor owned by Earl Henderson, the former Tim Engler. Mission Impossible. Little paint, away you go.
Look at this, folks. Look at it. Breathing fire here. We have 2 full pulls. Will this be a third? No, 272.9 for Papa Bear.
Stewartstown, PA. Down near Gettysburg area, down near the Maryland border. They come from all kinds of distances to be here at Inwood.
It's funny when you go out and you look at some of their trucks and cars that they used to get here, you find the little maps on the seat, all trying to find Inwood, Ontario.
I think sometimes these guys wish they had one motor, one key, or hit the button and just start it. Trying to get these things fired up is a lot of work. Wayne Garrett, multi-chaos. Look at the involvement here to get it going.
Well, it is a bit of chaos to get them all started, isn't it?
Wayne Garrett from Eaton, Ohio, just west of Dayton. All right, gets it pulled on. There's a former, Pat Friels. Former modified driver out there, getting him backed in, lined up.
I tell you what, though, you do notice a difference between some of the teams that have a few more dollars to work with and teams such as Wayne Garrett here in multi-chaos. Machine looks good, but it just doesn't have that same kind of feel.
Oh, the old rat motor, 427 Chevrolet. Now we got a dead motor here on the starboard side.
And he's going to go anyway. Remember, he could have stopped it if he felt he didn't want to go. You stop it before 75 feet, you get your run, but he figured he'll go anyway, and he'll pay the price down at the other end.
But Vic, wouldn't he have known the engine wasn't running?
You would have thought so. He must have had some kind of tack or something up there that he could have looked at, because you're right, that first motor on the right-hand side was dead.
Now, Bill Douglas Jr. will take over now. Aboard Spook, hometown boy from Alveston, Ontario, between London and Sarnia. The crowd is up for this run.
It looks good. He'll get to 250, but not much more.
A little short of that, 243.4, yeah.
You look at the wheels, and I get caught up in it too. It's where the sled stops, not where the tractor stops, of course.
Douglas family, a long history in the sport of pulling.
Well, he's the hometown favorite. He hails from 10 miles down the road in Alveston. Billy, you got to feel good. It was a pretty good-looking lap.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with that run. As a matter of fact, I've been impressed how this thing's ran all summer. It's doing great for us, really.
If you had a chance to do it all over again, would you change anything?
I think maybe I'd run about 100 less on the nose. I think it was a little nose heavy, but you learn as you go, I guess.
There you go, young Billy Douglas Jr. He's putting it all together. This boy is going to be a threat in the future.
You know, he makes a good point. That's something we haven't talked about so far. It's all about as John Heilman gets ready in Ohio Gold. You look at the track, you figure out the conditions, you put some weight at the front end. Those are all the things that you have to think about and judge before you make your run.
Say hello to the old friend, John Heilman from Rockford, Ohio. And Ohio Gold, 550 cubic inch Rodeck power, all aluminum big block Chevys. This tractor can really haul.
It is thunder on wheels.
Many-time recipient Hooker of the Year award. Hooker of the Year? You tell me what the awards.
Knitting.
No. Oh. No. Most hooks at the sled in the year in the NTPA organization, and you win the Hooker of the Year.
It could have been worse.
David and Ralph Banner, here are two old war horses in this sport, conferring, having a look at that track as the conditions change. The sun is gone, but as you mentioned, the humidity is still here. Dave Walsh in the Irish Challenger. He's from Mauston, Wisconsin, a couple of hours north of Madison. These are 640 cubic inch Arias engines, aluminum Chevy style with Hemi heads. Look at this thing shake. Oh boy.
You know, it's 285.7. You look at the way he starts in Irish Challenger and you say he's going to automatically have a full pull, but just something along, maybe he gets a little left, maybe a little right. We have two full pulls so far. Just add dirt and Country Girl.
All right, Dave Banter. Very familiar name in pulling from LaFontaine, Indiana. 7 engines, 9,000 horsepower.
My, look at this. But not enough, Eric. 278.9. Interesting, eh? All that horsepower, but if you don't use it properly, it's not worth anything.
David, you're obviously disappointed the 7 engine didn't go out. Hooking back to back, you got to get right down there now. What's going to be the strategy with Mr. Chevy?
Well, I had one motor go a little bit bad on the Bandit. I really feel like the Chevy ought to make a good pass. There's a good track out here. I'm going to just try to make it do it.
You want to be in a pull-off?
I sure do.
There you go. David Banner, head her on down.
Back they go to the sled, because Dave Banter will bring out his Mr. Chevy entry. Listen, you talk about experience, Vic. 17-time Grand National Champion. Dave Banter aboard Mr. Chevy.
And what he's got here are Chevys. He's got 6 of them, 454 cubic inch Chevys. Now, he couldn't do it with 7. Let's see what he does with even half dozen here.
I was in the pit area asking about Dave Banter, and they said, you know what, he's probably one of the best seat-of-the-pants pullers in the business. And here he goes with a second ride, Mr. Chevy. Really working that wheel, sawing it back and forth.
Did he get far enough? No, 287.3. So the veteran Banter fails with both his machines, and only 2 now go through to the pull-off.
Got to be disappointing for that Banter clan, but now again into the pull-off between Roddle and Knox, and there she is. And Mike Piper, just add dirt, and the Country Girl, the unlimited modified pull-off, coming up.
Well, unfortunately, he's out of it, but it gives us the opportunity of having an expert commentator. David, in your opinion, what does Roddle and Knox and what does Mike Piper have to do to win this deal against each other tonight?
Well, they're both going to have to lay down a good run. They're both real strong tractors. They both made the gate, and the rest of us couldn't, you know, so that put them in a league by themselves. But they both got to lay down an excellent run to win it.
What's Mike got up his sleeve that he can use against Roddle?
Well, Mike's got a setup there with a transmission in it, and he's got like 2 or 3 gears in there he can choose. The rest of us don't have transmissions. So a good power track like this, Mike, I'm sure, will shift it down at least 1 gear, maybe 2 gears, and that'll get his RPMs up, get him out of the hole going. So that gives him an edge.
And for Roddle, what's her advantage?
Well, Roddle just put on a brand new set of tires today, and when you put on a brand new set of tires, you own the track for the first 4 or 5 passes, and that's her biggest edge. She's got a set of tires that just won't let go.
Now, I know you like both of them and get along well with both of them. You going to make any predictions for the winner's circle?
Yeah, I would. I don't want Raceline to win, because if she does, that knocks me out of 3rd place in the points. But I really would put my money in her, because she has got the tire speeds, the tire, and the whole works, and I think she'll pull it off.
That's the word from our new color man, Dave Banter.
She's the only female, a daunting fact at best. Whatever possessed her to get into pulling in the first place?
Well, I started drag racing in 1968 with my husband John, and it was kind of an evolutionary thing. I drove several different classes in drag racing, and from 1968 to 1979. And in 1979, I needed to retire. I needed a break from racing, so my husband and my son Brian decided to build a pulling tractor, and they had a driver for several years, and in 1989, they needed a driver for the pulling tractor, and my son Brian said, "Mom, do you think you'd like to drive?" So since I had a background in racing, I decided to drive for him, and it's worked out really well for our family.
Now for the next roadblock. Has she had any problems with the male co-competitors?
I think that I've become very competitive in the last year, and I sometimes I feel a little bit of, not flack, but I just feel a little bit of, pressure a little bit. Yeah, I do feel it this year.
She's achieved so much so quickly. What's next?
Well, we run on the NTPA Grand National Circuit, and we would like to win a Grand National points event. This year, we're just bumping on the door to third place, and we were hoping to get a first this year, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen for us this year. So next year, we're going to really try real hard to come in first, and that's our goal. That's one of the goals that we've set for ourselves as a team.
It seems the country girl has it all. Success, determination, a devoted family. Yes, I'd say sassy Massey, Raceline Knox is very comfortable with life in the fast lane.
Okay, now, down to business here. Mike Piper, Mount Vernon, Southern Illinois. Just add dirt.
Now let's remember what Dave Banter suggested, that his tires aren't quite as good as those of the country girl and Raceline Knox.
Got to remember, too, that he had the first pole in this division. But the track has really changed since that first pole, so it's a brand new virgin surface for him.
Oh, look at this. Got a fire?
Uh-oh. All kinds of fuel alive on top of the blocks in there somewhere. Oh, man.
275.3. Just add dirt. Just add some water, please. Put out the fire.
Exactly. Gonna get the extinguishers into it there. Big fire on top of the block closest to the cockpit, but he's all right, honestly. Out and okay.
Well, you would think now that would leave the door open for Raceline Knox and Country Girl.
Now he's
smiling anyway.
He's wearing earplugs, smart.
Now this explodes about 50 feet in.
He's got an injector line come off or something that is methanol, alcohol burning on top of the blocks, but he doesn't back off at all, Vic.
No, he doesn't. He probably sees it gurgling around on top, and he's just going to burn off. Let's go down to John.
Well, evidently, Mike Piper, you know no fear. The thing was on fire. You never let off a bit.
Well, you got to win them any way you can get them. The tractor nearly never set in the track like I thought it should have. The track's gotten hard. Should have left the air pressure down. We jacked it up a little bit. It was a good pass, but she'll probably get around unless she has some problems.
David Banner said you probably dropped a gear, and he said it looked like a great pass.
Well, it's the same gear around the first pass. I didn't change anything.
All right, that's a word from Mike Piper.
All right, a key now then could be tire pressure, because he said the track is getting a little harder.
Right.
And he pumped up the air a little bit so they wouldn't bite. They weren't as soft as he'd like them. So now it'll be interesting to see what Raceline Knox does with her machine, the country girl.
Something else key that he said too, Vic. Now getting them aligned perfectly straight, right where they want to and where they think they're going to get the...
This is Son Brian.
Yeah, get the tractor and the tires to sit down into the track for maximum bite. He said the tires are a little bit too hard, riding on the top of the hard track. Raceline wants to get that tire pressure perfect, to get that thing to sit down inside rather than right on top.
And Dave Banter said this is what she has advantage when it comes to tires. But look at this.
Twist that thing.
Yeah,
twist
man.
that thing.
Right on the line. 256.2. Problems for the country girl. She got it going left and couldn't bring it back.
Well, that's a disappointment. Not the run that Raceline was looking for. John and Raceline standing by.
Well, Raceline, from the starting line to 200 feet, it looked great, but then it started to make a move to the left-hand side. You had it correct and shut it down?
Yeah, I did. It really torqued to the left, and I was on the brake really hard, and I just couldn't turn it. The track really pulled me to the left, so I just shut it off a little bit.
Well, you've thrilled everybody here tonight, in second place against Piper is nothing to be ashamed of.
Well, Mike did a great job tonight. He ran real well, and I'm real proud of him. He did a good job, and second place is all right.
There you go. I'm very happy, Raceline Knox.
Let's have another look at this run here. And she talked, and we talked about the twist, the torque twist in this track.
Oh yeah, it pulls severely to the left. You can see the chalk line down, and she barely kept both feet in bounds.
All right, back to give you the final totals from Inwood on Raceline. We'll do it in a moment.
Well, Mike Piper should be hot, especially after that flaming run the last time. Mike, you've got to be happy you won it over Raceline.
Well, I think I just outbalanced her, really. I had some counterweight on the side nobody else seen, and the tractor made a good pass the first time, and they were wanting to change the sled, and I told them they better leave it alone. I said about as good a run I could have made with it. And then Raceline, I seen her first pass, and she got a little sideways in the track also. And this one here, the track got a little greasier, actually. It got harder on top. And, you know, she just didn't get a whip like I did or whatever. I made a better run than she did.
When you watched her first run, did that have anything to do with where you placed the sled for your second lap?
No, I had mine countered on a weight situation, and her tractor goes like mine. It does a left-hand turn down close to the end of the track. The frame kind of wants to twist up and bury the right tire and turn it to the left.
Well, as we say in TV, this event went out in a ball of fire. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you very much.
Mike Piper on top. There it is. Full pole, Raceline Knox, same situation. Limited modified results. Then Brockman, Banter, Heilman, and Walsh, 1 through 6, Vic.
At the same time, Banter and Walsh have to be disappointed. And now Dave Banter with his second drive. Stone, Curry, Douglas, Garrett, and Jostock.
Time now for the Revell Model Performance puller of the event, Rob Russell, aboard the Workhorse from Lenox, Iowa.
This,
There's
of course,
favorite
was
shot again.
Yeah, beautiful. This was in super stock, the 9,500-pound class. And this was as pretty a pull as we saw the entire competition. Didn't move an inch off, dead straight.
PRN, Performance Racing News, Canada's Motorsport Authority. A little pulling trivia here, Mr. Rutter. Get your trivia brain in gear. When was the last time an alcohol-fueled super stock tractor won a Grand National title? 79, 81, or 84? What do you think?
My puller says 79.
Yeah? 79. No, 81, actually. Rich Miller won in the 5,000-pound superstock class aboard his Oliver 88, known as Poor Loser that year.
My puller's getting older.
Yes, it is.
I don't want to touch these pipes. They're very hot. And so's the driver. Raceline Knox and Country Girl here just wowed the crowds this evening. She was in the finals. Yeah, she was up against Mike Piper in the pull-off finals in the unlimited modified division. And unfortunately, she was second, but hats off to Raceline because I think she was the crowd favorite. In fact, the louder these machines were, the better. The crowd just loved the unlimited modified. A little earlier, the super stocks came roaring down the track, and it was Ernie Connor taking the win. But just a spectacular evening of entertainment. The ground rolled and the crowd cheered, and we all enjoyed it. For myself, Catherine DeCourt, for John Massenberg and Eric Thomas and Vic Router, thanks for joining us today at the Twin Creek Grand Nationals at Inwood, Ontario. Racing radio supplied by Midland Canada Limited with technical support by New Venture Communications, London, Ontario. All in-car and wall cameras supplied by Sony Canada, the makers of the Sony Handycam.
Raceline has been brought to you by General Tire. Sooner or later, you'll own Generals. And by Revell, the world's model maker.
Questions or comments about Raceline? Write us at Box 551, Caledonia, Ontario, NOA 1AO, or use the phone, area code 416-765-0170.